Muscle up is one of the most intimidating but also rewarding exercises when you're just starting out calisthenics. And if there are people out there doing 50 in a row, I'm sure we can learn how to do just one, right? If you're watching this video, you're already one step ahead because you get to learn from my mistakes. And here's what I would do if I could go back in time and redo the whole process. Starting at level 1, of course, building a solid foundation with pull-ups. How do you expect to fly over the bar if you can't even pull yourself up to it politely? Pull-ups come easier for some than it does for others. Definitely some people are just born being able to do 10 to 15 whilst others can do 0, and that's okay. I got 2 videos on this already, one on how to do your first and the second on how to increase those reps once you got your first one. Whilst I don't like giving an exact number for how many pull-ups you should be able to do before start learning the muscle up, I started learning the muscle up when I was able to do 10 pull-ups. Why? Because Chris Harrier said so. But 10 pull-ups is a good base to start level 2 from, which is explosiveness. Being able to only pull yourself up where your chin just crosses the bar won't be enough for a muscle up. You gotta at least be able to pull to your chest or ideally even to your hips. This requires speed and a lot of strength, which are fast twitch muscle fibers take care of. The thing about those types of muscles is that they fatigue very quickly. So it's important that we do this at the beginning of our workout, our explosive training, whilst your muscles are still fresh. But I could have gotten there a lot quicker if I also had complementary exercises onto the explosive pull-ups. So here are 3 complementary exercises that I would have done on top of the explosive pull-up itself. First one, band-assisted explosive pull-ups. Now, what these do is they basically take some of the strength aspect out of the equation, allowing you to focus on the full range of motion and on speed. It's basically a training wheels for your nervous system to first let you get used to the movement without the strain of the full weight. Now, the second exercise is the complete opposite, which are weighted pull-ups, where it's all about just building that raw strength. Take a backpack, put some books in it, do a couple of pull-ups, take it off, and then try some normal pull-ups, and you'll see that you just fly into the air all of a sudden. It's of course a mental thing, but over time, if you keep doing weighted pull-ups, then it won't just be a mental thing anymore, and your body will actually just feel a lot lighter, and you'll be able to move it around in space a lot easier. Plus, you'll get like a killer back from this, so weighted pull-ups in general are like definitely a recommended thing to do. And then the third exercise is eccentric training, often overlooked. It's really good for building strength, but also for building elasticity in the muscles. These benefits will really shine through when you go from an eccentric to a concentric really quickly, which could be the case when you're going for your second explosive pull-up or maybe even your second muscle up already. Definitely don't miss out on these either. Great for strength and bouncing back up basically. But even with all this explosive force and being able to pull my chest to the bar, I still wasn't able to do a muscle up, and that was because I was missing one critical piece of the puzzle. And level 3 is all about technique. Technique is everything, and I actually mean everything, because I used to think it was all about brute force, but then I saw a clip of a gymnast doing a muscle up without even bending their fucking arms. That means it was all just momentum and barely any strength that was required for it. Now, of course, we don't want to replicate that exactly. We want to do more of the traditional muscle up because we still want to gain some strength from it. You know, we want to bend our arms. So here are the 3 most important things that you gotta pay attention to, starting with the first, and that is using momentum. You take a step forward to initiate a controlled swing. On the swing back, while simultaneously pulling yourself up, you drive your knees upwards to create an upward lift and helping you fly over the bar. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this cheating? Yeah, I guess it's kind of cheating, but everyone can use a little help in the beginning. For now, it's just your goal to get on top of the bar. So use the kip. It doesn't really increase the risk of injury either. Just remember that using momentum is only for your muscle up attempts and not for your explosive training from level 2. The purpose of the explosive training is to just purely focus on building muscle and strength. So we don't want to use any kipping with that. Now, the second thing that you got to pay attention to is that your body does not go up in a straight line, because then you would just smash your chest into the bar. Instead, you follow a semi-circular path. So to practice following that circular motion, we want to start on a low bar or anything stable that you can find. I used to practice it under a table by placing your hands on top. And you want to place your feet on the ground for assistance and just practice that circular motion. Once you got the hang of it, take it to a high bar and combine it with the kip, and you'll see that you'll be able to pull your chest a lot higher than you could before. I've seen so many people fail at these first 2 things where their muscle up ends up looking like that. So yeah, don't be that guy. And then the third technique tip is changing your grip. If you stay in a standard pull-up form grip, you'll notice that you cannot put a lot of pressure on your wrists. So what you want to do instead is shift your grip mid-move from where your wrists are at the side of the bar to the top of the bar. Alternatively, you can already start with your wrists on the top of the bar. That is called a false grip. Very tough, Very painful at first to practice, but definitely worth learning it because it has a lot of other applications. And when you see those viral clips on Instagram of people doing muscle ups, this is usually the grip they have because it allows for a lot more smoother transition. Definitely worth considering, but maybe not for now. Just a couple extra little tips to help you out that I found myself during my muscle up training. Keeping your eyes constantly on the bar. It's a mental thing, but trust me, it works. And of course, not doing chicken wings, instead pulling your arms up simultaneously. I know it's very tempting to do one like this because it makes it easier. Trust me, it's not worth it. If you can't do it simultaneously, just don't do it at all. And then the third thing is at the top, extending your legs out in front of you because this shifts your center of gravity forward, making it easier to pivot your chest over on top of the bar. If you're combining this with the kip, then you kind of got to do a weird movement. You first got to initiate the kip and then at the last moment, stretch out your legs as fast as possible to like help yourself get over it. You'll see why this matters when you attempt a muscle up with your legs just straight or even behind you. It just doesn't work. So legs in front to act as a counterbalance. A very good drill to master the technique is doing the eccentric or negative. Start at the top of the bar. How you get there, figure it out yourself. You can use a chair and lower yourself through the complete muscle up motion, but as slow and controlled as you can. The transition point will be definitely the hardest to control, where you're going from a dip to a pull phase. Think of it as reverse engineering a muscle up basically. If you find yourself dropping too quickly on a high bar, move to a low bar, use your feet as assistance and gradually reduce your reliance on them. And then there's one more thing that we can add, band assisted muscle ups. These are a cheat code to learning the muscle up as fast as possible. They're very cheap, versatile, but very effective. Get yourself a couple of different resistances. That way you can start doing muscle ups straight from the get-go, giving you a lot of confidence, and it also just makes it way more fun. Start out with heavy resistance bands and then gradually lower the resistance until you're at one of these kinds of bands. They offer basically no resistance at all. Now, one thing that you can do with these as well, if you only have one pair, you can kind of loop it around once or twice more, and that way you'll get more resistance as well. So different resistances with the same band is possible. Bands aren't just for muscle up practice, but they're also for all the exercises that I mentioned before. They're just a great tool overall, and I talk about it in all my videos to the point where I should probably start making my own to sell to you guys. Now, bands aren't mandatory. You can perfectly learn it without as well, but for me, my personal journey, they were a game changer. They got me from like very close to there, being able to do a clean muscle up, and it also allowed me to perfect my form more, to like polish my form. So if you do decide to do these become like your first priority because it's the muscle up itself, you know, do band assisted muscle ups, then move on to your explosive training, and then finish off with technique. And then a closing note that I want to give that will play a significant role in how long it takes you to learn it is body composition. Fat, but that could also be unnecessary muscle, both will slow you down. That's why you see overweight people, but also bodybuilders not being so good at calisthenics usually. But that doesn't mean that it's not for those people. Wherever you start from, you're still progressing with every rep that you do. Think of this journey as a complete transformation. You're not just achieving a single skill, you're also just building strength, confidence, discipline along the way, one rep at a time. It's not about where you end up, it's about the person that you become whilst you're doing it. Remember that the muscle up can be just the beginning of your calisthenics journey.